Hi everyone, welcome to part 7 of the series of videos that I am making on latest oral examination questions as being asked of students in 2020. So without wasting much time, let me get started. Alright, so these questions have been sent by students from India, Australia, UK and Singapore, and let me start. I'm trying to look at the questions. These questions have been sent to me on my phone. So the questions start. One of the candidates says he was asked about rule number 2, 5, 6, 10, 13, 19, and 14. It's pretty much all the rules. He says that he was not asked to quote the rules but to demonstrate an understanding of these rules. So I've always been saying that don't focus on memorizing the rules, focus on understanding and showing an application of these rules when required. In what all situations can you alter course to port? I have addressed this question in my last video or a video before that. Please make sure you watch that. This basically requires an understanding of rule number 2, but you can give some examples of when you don't alter course to port, especially if you're altering course to starboard, puts you at risk of collision with another vessel. You do not alter course to starboard then. Then he was asked about lights and shapes as demonstrated by vessels restricted in their ability to maneuver, not under command, constrained by draft, and aground vessels. Questions regarding ECDIS limitations and radar limitations was asked. What are VDRs used for and what all data needs to be recorded? How to determine risk of collision. Keep in mind about crossing and head-on vessels are for power-driven vessels. Actions required to be taken in situations of man overboard. Emergencies that you may encounter with while on watch at sea. What are the actions if you see and observe an aground vessel ahead of you? And then the buoy system, and asked about the cardinal marks and what they indicate. Then situations where you have a not under command vessel head on, what would you do? Passage planning and errors that creep up in ECDIS. What is the definition of a constrained by draft vessel? And what is said about the constrained by draft vessel in rule number 18? A situation was asked about restricted visibility where you find a blip on the radar forward of your port beam, and what would you do? Then he was asked about synoptic charts. I have discussed most of these questions in my videos. You can go into the playlist depending on the topic you want to study on, and you can find answers to these videos. I don't want to answer all these questions again. It's a repetition, makes the video very long. The idea behind these videos is I want to pass them on to you so that you can prepare the answers to these questions. Most of these questions I have already answered. You will find them in my channel. Alright, light and day signal of towing vessel, sound signal of vessel aground, whistle signal or fog signal of vessel aground as well as vessel at anchor. He was also asked a couple of questions about Annex 4 of the rules of the road regarding distress signals. In narrow channels, how do you overtake another vessel? Then he was asked about flag November, Charlie, Delta and Zulu. Asked about the locker content of the SOPEP locker, what all equipment comes under the SOPEP, that is shipboard oil pollution emergency equipment. Then he was asked about the action to be taken if there is an oil spillage during bunkering operations. Then asked questions about stresses related to raking of the vessel. What are the SOLAS requirements for carrying life jackets and life rafts? And how do you assist the master as a third or second officer when there is a medical emergency? Alright, so then there are some more questions regarding rule number 19, only explanation. There were some cross questions. No need to quote word for word. It's clearly said here. What are the different methods used for obtaining compass error? Star finder chart, how do you use one? Distress signals and limitations regarding radar, meaning of some flags, and so on. So I think I've pretty much covered all the questions. I try to combine the questions so that you get the maximum number of questions in one video. So questions are sent to me by students all over the world. I mean, especially the 4 countries I mentioned initially, and so it's important for me to pass them on to you, irrespective of where you are going for orals. If these are the questions, or popularly asked questions, make sure you prepare a response to these questions as well. All right, so thank you for watching, guys. I don't want to make this video any longer than what it already is, and thank you for supporting the channel. All the best with your studies, and let me know how I can help with your studies and preparation for exams. I look forward to your comments and feedback and suggestions for improvement. Thank you, guys, and bye.